I don't know how to start this, but I will try. What you're about to hear is something that I can never forget. It's always embedded in my mind, and it will always be, forever. So, I used to live in this small herbal town named Shakopee. It was quiet, but subtle. I loved it. The reason I moved was because of that bakery. That bakery still haunts me, even though I moved. Now, it closed down. Actually, I don't even know when it closed down. I know it was open at one point, but they never had it open. They had it available to the public, but it seemed like to me, they never kept the open sign on. It was always off. So I don't know if they had hours. I don't know if they had any. I don't even know if they even went in business for a while. I don't know anything about the Shakopee Bakery. But what I do know is it's now abandoned and broken down. And I would recommend you not go and visit it. And for sure don't go inside. Because I don't want you experiencing what I experienced. So heed my warning. Don't go there. Well, at least don't go alone. If you do go. But I wouldn't recommend you going. Let's get to the story. It all happened on July 12th, 2016. It was a summer night. It was about 10 o'clock p.m. I called my friends up and I asked them if they wanted to go to a place where it might be haunted. They said, alright, sure. They met me at my place and we drove over there to the bakery. And we got tools from one of my friend's uncle to break in. We didn't really have to break in. The door wasn't locked. It was open. The only thing that was not open was it was all boarded up. But it's a good thing my friend had a crowbar, otherwise we'd be out of luck. My friend opened it up with the crowbar and opened the door that was unlocked. That's kind of weird that they just left it unlocked. But I just shrugged it off at that point. We walked in there and the smell hit us hard. It was like the smell of death. And there were also other smells, like mildew and dust and mold. But the most horrible smell was the smell of death. The smell of something rotting in that place. And it didn't get to the point where it was really strong till we got to this hatch door that was on the ground. The rest of the bakery seemed fine. The only thing that was different was there was a hatch door behind one of the bakery tubs where people display their baked goods. We opened it, thinking that there was just gonna be a storage room. We were wrong. There were stairs, actually, leading down towards what looked like, actually we couldn't see the bottom right away. It was like a dark abyss. We didn't see, the only thing that we seen was a light flickering above the stairs going down. We didn't know how far down it went, but we realized it was pretty far. So my friends got some flashlights out, and we started heading down towards the area. Now, it was pretty far down, like bunker down. Like, if you ever heard of a bunker, it's where, like, you set in during a war or something, and it keeps you safe from the outside world. But it was a bunker that was like, it was like a bunker, like the way going down. It was weird because why would it go down so far? There was 5 corridors, I remember. We went in the first one closest to us. And it wasn't that weird. It was like a hospital. Which is weird for being a bakery, but maybe sometimes people decide to build something over what was already there. So what if this was an old hospital or something like that? Or jail cell? They all had doors torn off their hinges, laying by the wall. All of them, all of the doors, except for one room, which was on the farther end of the hallway. But I'll get into that. All of the rooms were the same. They had one toilet, one sink, one mirror, and a bed. And it looked like the beds haven't been slept in for years. But they were all torn, and the sheets were torn, and the fluff was all around, like someone was in a quick hurry to get out of there. We went towards the end of the hallway, where we came across a door. It was still attached. We opened it, and it made a creak sound. And when we went inside, it was like a lab. We decided to go in to see what it was that was in there, and it was like a table where people were probably chained to it. There were chains around it and shackles and handcuffs, like medical kind of things. They were like, there's a monitor and there were tools. like a saw, a blade, a couple of blades, like surgical blades that people use to when they're a doctor and they examine and poke a patient when in surgery. What was this place? One of my friends said. We decided to look around for a little longer before getting out of there. I came across a file that was sitting on a desk. It was a patient file. Patient 0666. I thought it was kind of funny that 666 is like the devil's number. So I read it. The patient didn't have a name. The name was blank. But there were experiments. Longest breath in water was one of the experiments. There was also longest time to stay alive while being stabbed in the stomach numerous of times. 15 was the longest. I didn't know what this was, but there were more. 15 burn wounds. They were all healed. That's what the report said. They were all healed. How can burn wounds heal? It also said the stab wounds were healed. How is that possible? It's not physically. But I was about to read another patient when I heard something say, like some kind of creature, I'm not sure if it was human, say, really silent, but we could hear it. All of us could. Help me. Please help me. You must get out of here. Send help. We decided to leave everything, but I decided to take something. I took a diary from some doctor. I decided to take it because it sounded interesting. And I wanted to take something as a souvenir to make sure that we were there. But when we left the area, I put the thing in my backpack. And we left the area, decided to go down the same corridor that we just went through. To go down and to go back to the area where there's 5. We went there, but there weren't 5 corridors anymore. There was only 3. Where'd the other 2 go? They were gone, for what I could see. We went down the middle one, which was the one we started hearing the voices come from. At least that's what I thought. We went towards it, and we came across one door. It was on the end of the hallway, like the other one. But there were no hospital doors anymore. They weren't around. There was the only door that was in that corridor was the end hallway door. We went in it, and it was something on the table. It was like a surgical table, like the lab had. It was all chained up, and it looked like it was starved. And it didn't have any eyes, only a mouth that gaped longer than any human could possibly open the mouth. It was horrifying. All the teeth were sharp and pointed. And even though it didn't have eyes, I felt it staring at me. It started growling and moving, like trying to move anyways. It couldn't move because it was restrained, but it tried to wiggle out of the restraints. We decided to get out of there at that point. We shut the door and we ran to the hatch. We ran up the stairs. But before we closed the latch, there's one big loud thud. And then it's like someone yelled down the hallway, "Help us!" That's the last thing before I heard. That's the last thing I heard before I slammed the hatch door shut. And I even took one of my friend's lock that she uses on her bike, and I locked it up. We got out of there, called the police. They were really mad that we broke in, but they sent us out with a warning to not do it again, since it was the only time we've done it. I decided to ask the police officer if they could go inside and check if that hatch was there. I said it was a red hatch with a red handle. He went in. Nothing. He came out, said there was no hatch. There was no... It wasn't there. I decided there's no way that could be true. I ran in there. Police told me to stop and not go in there. I went in there. He was right. The hatch, or whatever it was gone. How can that be? I thought it, for a second, maybe I dreamed it. But then I remembered I had that diary. I looked in my bag. There was no diary in it. I asked if my friend maybe took it out of my backpack or something. They said no, they didn't. And when they told me what they saw, it exactly matched up to what I saw and heard. They saw and heard it too. But it wasn't there. The police told us there was nothing there, and I confirmed it. How did this happen? All I know is that I can prevent it happening again. Don't go there. If you go, you might not make it out alive.